And that's another thing I hate about fucking YouTubers, podcasters, all those scum. The goddamn the ad reads, the sponsorships. I know I've gone on about them before, but specifically when they say that fucking if they've got a sponsor read of like Flippy Flop mattress top company or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, this is a really great company, really great product. I've got one myself, uses it all the time, it's really good. Oh, it's the best Flippy Flop mattress top ever. I love Flippy Flop mattress top. I've got one. And then, oh, they're so good. It's so good that even I've got one. That's how good they are. I'm endorsing it. Even I've got one. Of course you've got one. They fucking sent you one for free. As well as a load of money to fucking shill for their stupid shit company. Flippy Flop mattress top. Can eat my dick and my balls. I've got one. Yeah! I'd have one too if they sent me one for free. Fucking the dishonesty of it is fucking disgusting. It really is. It's horrible. Like, it's not like the person you're watching in the video was troubled and stressed trying to find the perfect mattress until they stumbled upon fucking Flippy Flop mattress top, and they tried it out. And it was the best mattress they've ever had. And they liked it so much, they contacted Flippy Flop Company Co. Limited and said, hey, I really love your mattress. I'd love to, endorse it officially, get like a sponsorship going. And that's how everything... No, of course that's not the case. I mean, they say, I've got one, which, yeah, I mean... Technically, that is true. I mean, not technically, literally, that is true. Of course, they've got one. But the reason they have one isn't because they loved it so much they paid their own money to get one. They got fucking sent one for free. I've got one. Yeah, no fucking doubt you have. Of course, it'd be weird if you didn't. I've got one. Fucking shut up. Pieces of shit, a lot of them. And it goes for whatever it is. If it's mattresses, bidets, fucking men's care shaving kits. Hey, I've got one of these. I use it all the time. Lie. I mean, of course, apart from the fact that they've got one. Wow, you've got one. Because it arrived at your fucking mailbox and one of your assistants picked it up or something. Bunch of fucking absolute horse shit. It's despicable. It really is fucking horrendous. And it's not, are there worse things going on in the world? Sure, yeah. But it's a particularly fucking dishonest, horrible fucking thing. Because it's right. So most people who watch these podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever the fuck it is, most people understand, sure, it's an ad read, they've got to make money somehow. Oh, how are we going to make money if not by shilling other people's products? And yeah, they probably exaggerate and tell non-truths here and there, but hey, it's just a bit of entertainment, and the company gets a bit of visibility on a big podcast or whatever it happens to be. So who's really getting hurt by that? No one's getting hurt. It's just you get paid and then you get some exposure. Maybe you get some extra sales out. The problem is that the advertisers and the company owners, they know that. They know most people know it's bullshit. They know people know that the podcast hosts, the YouTubers are lying. The companies in charge of the money know that fact. But it's the same way that the Nigerian scams and all the phone scams and whatever, it's the same way that works. Is the people running the scam know that most people will see a poorly misspelt email from Nigeria and go, oh, this is obviously a scam, so I won't pay any attention to it. But those aren't the targets of the scammers, because the scammers know most people will see through it, but they're looking for that small percent of people who won't see through it, who maybe not that they maybe aren't that intelligent. They maybe don't have like the kind of sense you need to pick up on scams and things. And so that's who the scammers are aiming at. People who read an email and don't pick up on spelling mistakes, who don't pick up on the reasons a Nigerian fucking prince might be calling them. And they're the people that might fall for it. They might be old people. They might be, people with like learning disabilities and those kinds of things. Just sort of slightly more vulnerable people in general. Those who are the people who scammers are going after. So they know most people will turn their nose up at their email, the call, whatever. But they don't care, because all they need is the handful of the people who won't, the people who are more susceptible to this kind of thing. And it's exactly the same with the sponsors of shows and videos and podcasts. They know, most people know it's bullshit. That's not who they're targeting. They're going after, they're preying on the weak and vulnerable. And that's how they get their money. Because most people will watch a YouTube video and see somebody going, I use flippy flop mattress top all day, every day. I'd stay in bed all day like John Lennon and Yoko Ono if I could. Just because my flippy flop mattress top's the best mattress in the world. And most people will watch that and go, oh, it's just the ad read, I'll just skip it or whatever. But then there are undoubtedly people out there who watch these videos, watch the podcasts, the shows, whatever it is, and they really enjoy it, and they like the hosts, the people who do the videos, and they engage with it. And then they see that person they enjoy and engage with saying, I've got this great mattress and it's so comfortable, it's the best thing I've ever slept on, and they've got an offer for people who watch our show, people like you who watch our show. There's a special offer for you special people. And then people who are very likely weaker and more vulnerable to this sort of thing see that and go, oh wow, I really enjoy this person and their content, and they're saying that this mattress from Flippy Flop Tops is really, really good. I stand to reason I should get one. And then that's how the companies make their money, by exploiting weak, vulnerable people who go. And I'm sure, there's bound to be non-weak, non-vulnerable people who buy the shit, sure, but this isn't like some conspiracy I'm unearthing. It's not, you have to read between the lines and check the subtext, the hidden coded messages. It is. Well, that's literally how advertising works. It works on more susceptible, easier to trick people, because most people understand that, like, it's a bunch of baloney used to sell shit products. And that's, I'm only talking about almost sort of stuff that matters less, like fucking mattresses or dick pills or whatever. But then you get into even to this day, people should know by now, BetterHelp as a company is a bunch of piece of shit. Like, they are fucked in what they do, how they run the company, how they don't vet like the psychologists, the counsellors, whatever they have on their service. Almost anyone can just sign up to be one. on BetterHelp, and they're just absolute pieces of horse shit. And it's supposed to be for mental health, and if anything, it probably is worse for people's mental health than it is good. And still to this day, there are big name fucking video podcast creators and hosts or whatever shilling for fucking BetterHelp. You tell me, oh, it's just entertainment, it's just people making their money. It's just people fucking stealing coins out of the back pockets of desperate people who need help. It's fucking disgusting, is what it is, and it sickens me. It absolutely sickens me. And this has been the case my entire life since I was a kid. I had the horrific, traumatizing, depressing sort of sudden vision that the world, it's all plastic. Everything you're looking at is fake. It's made by advertisers. It's made by people trying to sell you shit. That's what the world, that's what society and the economy are. It's all it is. It's a veneer put up, a big storefront, a big plastic storefront with bright lights saying, oh, come in, bring your money, bring your family and their money, come in, spend, which just prolificates that whole thing. The reason to be alive is to make money in order to spend money, in order that the people in charge stay in charge and have more money. That's the fucking thing of it. And I've been aware of that since I was teeny tiny. I couldn't necessarily vocalise it back then. But since then, I've always been so staunchly against advertising because it's absolutely fucking disgusting. That it's one of the greatest evils on the planet. It's not, genocide in Gaza and the bombing and all the rest of it. Fuck them. Fuck the cunts. Absolutely. The politicians that send the money. The politicians that fucking go into other countries and create coups and put in the leaders that they want in order to push out the, free peoples and whatever. Fuck them all. Fuck the prison systems. Fuck the whole military industrial complex. Fuck police and everything they stand for. Fuck all of them. There are horrific evils going on, but I think my platform happens to be advertising. That's one of the things I feel strongly about, and that I can't do much in the world in general. I'm, more or less powerless. I can sit here and do my little doodles. But if nothing else, I can talk about how fucking shitty flip-flop mattress top is. Bunch of fucking... it's just fucking vile. It really is. Oh, but if we don't get the money from the sponsorships, then we can't afford to do a show. We can't afford to have a crew of 12 people that work on our podcast, and we can't afford this huge studio with all these lights and cameras and equipment, and we can't afford to, go places and do shows. So fucking stop doing all that then. You're only doing that because you have the money to do so, and it's circular. Oh, we need this shit to pay for this shit. Why do you have that shit? Because we've got money to do this shit. Well, then you don't need the money to do that shit if you're only doing that shit because you have the money to do that shit. Fucking absolute pieces of garbage, a lot of them. Oh, I've seen the new Ultra Mega came out. Oh, that's cool. In issue 5, it's quite thick for a single issue of a comic, but then I think the other ones were as well. Oh, it's issue 5 of Ultra Mega, finally. I've got the first one. When did this come out? 2018, 2021? I don't know. I don't pay attention to this shit. I don't care. Oh, put penises on the inside of my body. 2021. 3 years after the first one, it's finally back and better than ever. The art's really, really fucking good. It feels like this is not a criticism. This is just what I saw while looking through it. the environments are different and the characters and monsters are different, but it feels like in general there's less like nitty gritty detail overall in this issue. There's lots of bold shapes. There are detailed parts, but in general, I think, pound for pound, it feels less detailed. But like I say, that's not a criticism, a crustaceanism, a creationist crustacean criticizing cremation. It's I think it's a sign that James Harren is sort of taking things a bit easier. He's more relaxed and not being as persnickety and worrying about all the tiny little fucking this is almost like Ren and Stimpy, SpongeBob SquarePants sort of thing, where you quickly zoom in on the character's face and it's all like gnarled and detailed and there's zits and spots and dirt and drips and stuff. Because then you get characters like this that are just like, bold yellow little fella, that's cool. And then it zooms in on this guy and he's all like, oh, he bit the head off a guy. Oh, I thought that was this guy. It might be that guy. It might be a different guy. Oh, it's not the yellow guy because that's the yellow guy. The yellow guy's fine. Whew. The yellow guy's fine, everyone. Chill out. But yeah, it feels like I keep almost calling him James Jean because his name's James. Get a new name, James Harren. I'm confusing you for other people named James. Oh, what a... Look, it's a poo! That guy, he's got some weird monster as a pet in this big city. And he's taking the monster for a walk and he's doing a deuce. That's a really good panel as well, like a borderless sort of white space, almost like a spot illustration of just grass and the Duke in there. A really well drawn poo as well. It looks like compacted sort of lumps of poo in a log that's been squeezed out, tapered off, pinched off here. That's really like nicely drawn poo. So I say, it feels less detailed. Again, not a criticism at all, merely an observation. But it feels less detailed. And then he puts that much effort into drawing really decent looking turds. And I really appreciate that. But, it's like Mobius, Arzak. Is that the one? With the flight. There's a few points in this issue where I feel like he's possibly heavily referencing other things. And this is absolutely one of them. I feel... that is, I think is it Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, the Ghibli one? There's similar vibes to that, but it feels a little bit more Mobius, riding this green winged pig monster. The monsters are so cool. I love his monster designs. Like his character designs in general are just pretty great, but his funny little monster designs. They're really, really good. But just, as a for instance, when you look through, the first Ultra Mega, there's the environments are different, so they're gonna be differently detailed. But it feels a lot more like there's a lot more going. There's a lot more like texture, a lot more detail in almost every panel. It feels like so fucking cool. Like, a picture like this, it's like his chest hair and little creases in his, pants and his tummy and stuff, and lots of little lines. Whereas in this, everything feels a lot bolder, and there's a lot more, or a lot less, like little noodly, little snickety lines everywhere. Again. Absolutely not a criticism, because, like I say, it genuinely feels like I almost called him James Jean again. James Harren is sort of taking it easy, relaxing a bit more. No doubt it's still a fucking absolute labour to get this comic done, as it would with any comic. But it feels like it's a bit of like not a breath of fresh air, but kind of like where the first book of Ultra Mega, everything is just like, oh fucking, and flipping through this, it genuinely does feel a little bit like, oh, I'm wheezing, so that's not a good sign. It feels a bit more like, okay, whew, cool. So it's almost a relief to have less, intensely detailed pieces, but still with fucking phenomenal drawing. The way he draws gloopy shit is second to none. It is so great. Just any chance he gets to draw fucking like tubes and intestines and that kind of shit, snakes and things, veins and tendons and shit. They're so fun to look at. More just like brilliant monster alien creature designs, and more and more. And I can try and point out bits about the story, but there's also, I think this feels, I'm not suggesting this is like referencing it, but this feels Blade Runner-ish, which feels like 1,000 other films that have referenced Blade Runner. But he's obviously on a high rise in a very built up sort of sci-fi futuristic metropolis with flying cars, and it's dark in his room but light out there, and there's sort of contrast and elements that speak about stuff. This is neat as well. I like the use of symbols rather than the straight up drawings, like I did in Death Fist, where he climbs up the building, where I had the arrows going blip blip blip, whereas he climbed up the building. That's like that. See, look, I'm fucking on it. Even the pros do it. I mean, technically I'm professional, I guess, but yeah. So they're going down in an elevator into this deep underground cave system or whatever, and so to show them going down, he's drawn, which is really cool. He's drawn like the layers of the earth just to show how deep they're going. They're not just going like into the basement, they're going deep into the actual earth. And yeah, just like a little icon of the guy and his little monster pal. There's monsters down there in the dark, but he doesn't mind. He's obviously cool with monsters. He's got one as a pet. Gets in this little rowboat, pushes it out into this underground fucking lake or whatever. And then there's this fucking giant woman with the monster mouth body and like almost octopusian jellyfish hair floating on the surface. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't know I've never known how to pronounce that. I assume it's Evangelion because it's like evangelical, like evangelical Christians or whatever. I assume it's like that, but I don't know. And I know, that anime has a lot of like religious shit all the way through it, so imagery and references and whatever. That's quite cool as well. The buoy that dings is a little like weird eyeball creature crucified on it, and there's like sharkagators, a hammerhead sharkagator. It's quite cool, these monsters in the water. But again, this guy who looks like a scientist or something, I don't know, he's just doing what he does. And then it's as her head comes out of the water. That's really well done. And if you know anything about Neon Genesis Evangelion, you'll know the big head in the water is a pretty strong image from that. And then you see the bulbous strands of her hair floating through the water are like eggs or something, egg sacs for all these creatures. So all of like that's her head and all of her hair coming out. These are all like egg sacs. And she's talking about Ultra Mega, and they're all happy chilling in their idyllic, nice wonderland or whatever. Two separate worlds, monstrous Ultra Megas and the happy Ultra Megas. great little bit of lighting there. This lamp, you can see it's like if he's here, this lamp is here, and so it's got the shadow of his nose and his sleeve and his arm here, which is, it's one of those things that's like so simple, you're like, of course that's the case, but then when it comes to actually drawing it, you wouldn't necessarily think to draw it like that. A really nice bit of shadowing, like minimal detail, but like effective use of light and shadow and stuff. What the fuck's going on with this guy? I think you sort of find out. That's the head of Ultra Mega, or one of the Ultra Megas, or something. Again, I've not read it, so I don't know. And I like how they've turned it into like a guy. They've built him a little body, and that, again, almost certainly not a reference to, but it just has imagery of MODOK, the big head with the little arms and legs guy. So yeah, like I said, so there's that, Neon Genesis, Blade Runner, Mobius. There's like little bits and pieces, which is more than likely James Harren was influenced by all of these things. I mean, you can see it in his work, and it's cool to like see little bits and pieces which were not necessarily clearly inspired by, but were clearly inspired by all of these things. I like this little drawing here of this person wrapped in a sheet. That's just I like the eyes. I think I always like it when it's just dots for eyes. That's always fun. I like this. This is another one of those, like, I love these borderless little scenes. They're really, really neat. They fit in really well. That's a good one as well, but this little like a domestic scene turned into some dramatic thing. I don't know if I'd be able to find it, but the bit where Ultra Mega's head comes off and gets saved or something, I'd assume it's towards the end, but I don't fucking know, so who can say? Oh yeah. My son, my God, it's been so long. You didn't bond with it, did you? And now, whatever it is, he's apparently pregnant with it. So they got his head and they do some shit. I like the eyeball guy. It reminds me of the Neversoft eyeball skateboarder you can unlock in one of the Tony Hawk's games. It's Tony Hawk's 3, I think. And this is, I love this. So whatever's inside him, he's now puking up this eyeball gem or something. These faces are some of the best throwing up something faces I've seen. This, like, he's about to throw up, and as it's coming out, his whole face is stretched and straining and red, snot coming out of his nose, and then the gasp, because that's one thing I struggle to draw it, but which is a separate thing. But then in like shows and movies and stuff, whenever people throw up, it's always bleh, bleh. What they never seem to get right is the fact that as you're throwing up, you can't breathe, and for me, that's one of the reasons I will try not to throw up at any time. Whenever, if I'm ever able to stop myself from throwing up, I will try to, because that feeling of like, you're not even choking, it's like suffocating for just a second, because when it comes out, it's very rare that you go bleh. It's like as it's coming out, and then it splats and you go and so I've very rarely seen that sort of like accurately portrayed on screen anywhere, much less so in comics. Like, it's you think about acting, that is one thing, but then trying to draw that is like insane. This is the closest I've seen to like accurately portraying it in an illustrated medium. The like, it's coming up, the strain in his face as he's stretching, pushing out this fucking gem, and then the way all of this like outstretched skin is sucked back in as he's gasping and all the air's rushing out of him, almost creating a vacuum inside of him from the pressure, where he's gone almost skeletal from like the complete opposite of this, like as the thing shoots out, and then as usually happens when you throw up, leaves you like this, just gasping and dripping from every part of your face, eyes wet and bulging, just like, oh God, what was that? Yeah, that's such a great set of drawings of storytelling of a person throwing something up. It really is fantastic. Like, of all the stuff, his artwork's just brilliant. He's so good at drawing so many things. But anyone that can like do that is top notch. A+, 5-star. Quite good. Quite good. That's fucking cool. Ultra mega, being ultra mega, doing ultra mega things. I love this as well. So there's these little robot pals that I guess she's made, and then these bad guys show up, and I guess these are like big robot carrier ships for the troops, and they're full of like robotic arms and shit or something. So all the troops come out, and then the little robot pals get to work, and they just start fucking tearing into them with knives. This one's really cool. And it's almost like the Crayon people from the BoJack Horseman book, where it's just like background characters, the small little background characters that I always mention. It's like that, like minimal detail, basic colours, basic outlines of this soldier troop guy running, blasting his gun, while there's just a little robot on top of him going with a knife. And yeah, this little scene, again, very little detail really. The stab wounds are literally like, they almost look like red blood cells. Just a little stab hole surrounded by blood, like soaked into the cloth around them. And these robots just fucking mauling all of these troops. With a little bit of background here and there, but not overcrowding it, and sort of with the colour blending it into the background a bit more. Great little scene there. And then some fucking gnarly goddamn ultra mega shit with the monsters. The angle and the movements of the monsters, and these like jagged lines to show the movement, the stretching and, you know, bending and stuff of their necks and mouths. This whole scene, I think every bit of this is drawn so well. They're escaping in a van or something. You've got the ultra mega head guy struggling to stay in the back of this truck. The truck itself is really almost cute in how it's drawn, and anytime you draw a car like off the ground, it looks great. Then look at the truck here, the drawing of the fucking suspension or whatever, with like the front of the truck rammed into the ground, almost screeching in or scraping into the ground. And then as it comes up, the body of the car is away from the chassis and the axle of the wheel. I would never think to draw a car looking like that. I just draw a car in my shitty car shapes that I make up because I don't know what cars actually look like. That's so good, and fucking love this. I guess it's one of these like big carrier troop ship things, and he's got his big fat body and his little legs sticking out, and I guess this monster ripping out of it, and the cloth like tearing and stretching around the monster snake tentacle parts. And then same here, where it's all in a clump, again with his little boots sticking out, the cloth wrapping around the... It's just all so good, while Ultra Mega is on top of this truck pushing it forwards, and they're driving away from the monsters. And I love that the monster doesn't necessarily seem to have like a front and a and a back. It feels like it's going like just flopping itself forwards every which way. And they're going up to a bridge, but under the bridge is blocked by all these wrecked cars. So Ultra Mega rockets, slams his hands down, rockets burst out, pushes them over the bridge, and the monster slams into all the cars, which again, they're cute little drawings of little ruined, wrecked, rusted chassis. Look at all the different words for car parts I'm using, and I know nothing about cars. And then Ultra Mega lands on the other side, rolls, gets the truck up and going, I think. Jumps towards the monster. Great shots again. I love this as well. The little tiny little doodle of the truck driving away with the head in the back. The monster getting up, and then this like the foreshortening of this like monster mouth arm thing, and that face is really kind of cool and funny. And then Ultra Mega running in the opposite direction, or rather towards the point of action. This one that way, that one that way, that one that way, that one that way. And I like this as well, because if you look at it like this, they're going away from each other, but obviously if you read it left to right, they are actually going towards each other. So that's quite a cool little thing there. And then Nom fucking eats him. Choo Choo. Again, just like a cute monster almost. That could be a Pokemon. Even though it's just fucking eating a guy. Oh god, I can't look. Uh-oh. Is it bad? Horrible. And hopefully you can see what I mean by like, there's a lot of these like quite basic cartoony looking drawings, and I feel like there weren't quite as many in the previous book, which again I'm happy with, perfectly, absolutely happy with, because I'm important. He has to appease me and my wants and needs and desires with his art. So the monster's chewing him and then shoots up like a rocket into the sky, farting as he goes, puff puff puff. I like that, with his teeth gritted and the skin being pulled back like the G-force. And then, of course, Ultra Mega bursts out of him. I like this as well, where his lip is torn away from the lower part of his jaw or whatever. Like he's really tearing his face apart. Gah! The blood coming out, it's not like Ryan Otley does great blood splats, but this feels like almost like a Tarantino gush of blood. Like it's not even a fountain, it's gallons and gallons of blood just fucking spraying out of this thing, and he's just fucked. Big fucking hole. Look at that, he's done him dirty there. Sky fight, slamming into the ground. These bracelets have some kind of significance, which I'm sure I'd know about if I actually read the thing. And then it cuts to a distant planet somewhere in the universe. Ultra Megapolis. The Endless City. I like this bit as well. It's obviously, I don't know if you can see, it's like almost like a Minotaur's maze of joined buildings, just endless fucking tower blocks. It feels post-apocalyptic, and then you've got like a bus stop here with a parent and a child in gas masks, hunched over in big puffy coats, all brown and grey. And there's like gloop over the bus stop and gloop on like the tram car here. And then there's a big ultra mega monster on top of the buildings, spitting down. Evidently, that's what the goop is that all these people have to deal with. And there's some bad ultra megas, and they've got a little guy in a pod, and they snap it open, and there's this little guy going, "Kill me," and he snaps it shut. Shall we go introduce ourselves to the next sovereign, cousin? Our family has grown quite impressive. All these ultra mega monsters in their ultra megapolis. I have no idea what's going on. Earth. A ship. Embryo ultra monsters. Shooting, hurtling towards the earth. Crashing down. They land. Shall we make first contact, Sora? Easy, Yotsumi. We don't want to scare the terrestrials. Whoa. Squeak. Greetings, Earthlings. We're here to assist you with your giant monster problem. And they're teeny tiny. That's a rat. That was a really good reveal for right at the end of the comic, because it's all giant monsters, and you've seen, these kinds of monsters all the way throughout the whole comic, and they're all like giant monsters towering over the city, fighting, smashing up cars and bridges and all kinds of shit. So the reveal of this ship containing monsters coming to Earth to help with Earth's giant monster problem, and they land, and they're actually teeny tiny. And that's a great panel, just in general, even without like the context of the story elements. Just with the rat and the garbage and the thing and stuff. It's really good. Really, really fucking impressive. I was so happy that this came out. I was so happy that they had it in the store. I picked it up and flicked through it in the store, and I was like, this looks really cool. Got it home, sat and looked through it properly. Yeah, I love almost every page of this. Is just really fucking cool. And of course, credit should be given to the whole creative team of Ultra Mega. You know, the writer, colorist. The colors are really, really great. Even the lettering, because the lettering in Ultra Mega is good enough that good enough is done well. Is done so well that I don't know about you, but I didn't even notice it. It fits with the story so well that it's just like it's a given. It's lettering in a comic, which is sort of how it goes, isn't it? I mean, that's the saying. Like, when something's done well, you don't notice it, and therefore it's easy to overlook and assume no effort's been put into it because you didn't notice it. But then when something's done badly, you fucking notice it. Like in those Simon Davis painted Slain books, where some of the lettering is so whack and just does not at all fit like the rest of the book. And that might be something that's quite hard to do with like hand painted comics, like to try to get text that fits with that hand painted kind of aesthetic. It's got to be quite difficult, but there's got to be a way to do it better than those Slain books, because yeah, some of the bigger, bolder text in there is really fucking bad, like really, really fucking bad. So yeah, props to everyone involved, as if any of them are going to fucking hear me talking about it. However, I draw pictures, and that's what I care about. I care about pictures and drawings of pictures and that sort of shit. When it comes to writing, lettering, design, I do care. Because again, if it's done badly, you notice, and it ruins the thing that you're looking at, regardless of the art or whatever. So I appreciate when it's done well. But I'm not going to fucking waste my time talking about it, apart from what I'm doing right now. I talk about pictures, because that's the bit I look at. Pictures, bloody pictures. Let's all have some pictures. You might notice, you might be able to tell, I'm drawing Ultra Mega. As if it wasn't quite clear. I've done a very, 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 very few Ultra Mega doodles. And it's something like I'd love to spend more time drawing and working on. There is somebody out there who has asked me to paint. They've got a copy of Ultra Mega with a blank cover. They want me to paint on, which I'm absolutely not just willing to do, but excited and happy to do. It's just an issue with, as I've said before, about having things sent to me via post because of my current living situation. Shit gets lost and mailed to the wrong addresses all the time, and it's just something like that. I wouldn't want to just get sent to me and then not reach me and fuck off and be lost somewhere else. But also that person, if they watch, I apologise for not getting back to your message. I worry that maybe they blocked me, or they're just taking some time away from social media and have deactivated their account. But I hope not either way. And if they do see this, and I apologise. I meant to get back to their message, and then as I was about to, I realised I couldn't because it said their account was deactivated, which happens if someone deactivates their account or if somebody blocks you. That's what shows up. And so that's all I can really think about that. I don't want to say, oh, they obviously blocked me because I didn't message them back. I don't know. I'm going on available evidence. One of the possibilities of why I can't message them back is because they blocked me. Another is, and I think this person has taken time away from social media before, which everyone should do, and I'd love to. hopefully I actually can properly someday. For now, it's how I make my living, so I kind of have to live there for a bit. But yeah, hopefully the person, if they do see this, if they haven't abandoned me and everything I do yet, hopefully they understand that I was absolutely and literally was about to reply, to let them know I may have somewhere safe for them to send the Ultra Mega comic so that I can paint the cover. And I've been trying to come up with ideas for a cover to paint, because if I'm going to paint an Ultra Mega cover, I want it to be fucking good. You know, I don't want to... Plus, this is a long-term, like, the person who I'm talking about is sort of has been a long-time follower, and they've bought some pieces off me and stuff before. So I really want to, you know, make it good if I'm gonna do something like that for them. I'll admit I'm not proud of it, but again, I'm the most honest person on the internet, so I will admit there have been commissions I've gotten before where I don't know the material that I'm being asked to draw. So I have to Google image a lot and like look stuff up, and I have like looked up videos of like the animation if it's from an anime or whatever, and tried my best to like get a feel of the character that I've been asked to draw. But there have been times absolutely where I've just sort of like very much not put in as much effort as I could. I know I say minimum effort, but that's for my own projects. When it comes to my own work, my own projects, it's minimum effort. When it comes to stuff other people are actually paying me to do with their own hard-earned money or whatever, I really do try to put in effort more than the minimum. But there have been a few commissions and things where I find it difficult to put in the effort when I don't know about the thing I'm being asked to draw. Maybe I don't even care about the thing I'm being asked to draw. I try to make a good picture regardless, and I think for the most part, I think there have been cases where people haven't necessarily been that happy with the commissions. It happens, sadly. It's gonna happen, and maybe some of that is my fault, I guess. Yeah, it's difficult to say. But for the most part, people, even when I draw something that I'm not maybe that happy with, maybe I half-assed some of it. For the most part, people have seemed happy with the result that they've gotten in the post or whatever. So that's good. But when it's something like, you know, like I say, it's a long-time person who has invested in me over the years. You know, there's really no other way to say it than that. And they want me to paint, you know, like a painted sketch cover of something like Ultra Mega. I do, you know, I have biases, and I do want to make that really fucking good. So I will do my best, and I'm quite happy with this. I purposely did this pose, knowing I'd be doodling this on today's episode, because it's the classic legs apart, body hunched a bit, shoulders up, one arm down, one arm up. The classic pose, good for anything really. It's my version of like the superhero landing, when they land with like their fist on the ground, one arm out, the legs splayed. Actually very similar to this as a pose, but yeah, it's fucking for me it's like a go-to pose, and it works. It gets the job done. It's like an action pose, but it's a good shot of the character, just sort of in situ, gives a good view of them, lets you see all their bits, all their pieces, the details and shit. It's a good one. I recommend this pose for anyone struggling to come up with a pose to draw their characters in. This, in my head, this drawing has could just sort of not grow and grow, but could certainly develop and develop as I do it. See, I've left gaps here because I want there to be like pink glow around his hand, and then I want these to be like pink shit swooping off up the place. I want to use highlight. This might fuck everything up, but I guess we'll see. That's exactly how I want them to be, more or less. I fucked that up a little bit, but it's okay. I mean, really, I could have like left some gaps and then put in like some pink lighting and stuff on the actual body of the guy. I might be able to do some of that with ballpoint. We'll see. We'll see. And then these have to go all the way up. Ultra Mega's a weird one because it's like, it's obviously based on like Ultraman. Is that the guy's name? Like the Godzilla type giant fucking kaiju monster man that fights the monsters in the monster movies. But it's also like its own thing, and I like that about it. And and that's another thing actually. Now I think of it, all the references, all the sort of similarities I might have pointed out while looking through the book. There is a big one, sort of leering over you throughout the entire thing, which is Ultra Mega itself is almost a straight reference to Ultraman. But it's also like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people could try to come up with something like Ultra Mega and have it just not work. You know, if you try to draw your own Ultraman comic with all these original ideas. Not to say, you know, James Harren is one in a million, he's one of a kind, no one else could do what he does. He's just a guy, you know, at the end of the day. But the way he draws his shit, it lends a lot to the material. Like the material, the story, the characters, the ideas are very much elevated by James Harren's art. And it goes a long way towards making the book what it is, or the comic what it is. Or something. I don't know. I've run out of shit to say. Shall I talk about advertising some more? That'd be fun, wouldn't it? What's going to happen? Oh, I'm going to have a thumbnail that will say like Ultra Mega Wow or some shit. And people will be like, oh, cool, he must have the new Ultra Mega. I'll check that out. And they'll click on it, and then there'll be me going, advertising's bad! How dare people take money from companies to tell the people that their products are good? How dare they? It's evil, it's shit, I'm right and everyone else is wrong. What happened to Ultra Mega? I thought you were going to talk about the comic. There's the new comic out. Sponsors are bad. People shouldn't care about money. Why does everyone care about money apart from me? Why can't the world be more like me? Oh. That's basically me. Brilliant. Ultra Mega. Do 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 do. Ultra Mega. Do 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 do. Ultra Mega. Do 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 do. That was if I didn't do the whole rant about fucking sponsors and podcasts and shit, the next in line for an opening to this episode would have been me singing Ultra Mega to the tune of I Want Candy by whoever the fuck originally sang that. So, you know, maybe you don't care to hear a rant about advertising and the evils thereof, but it was that or me singing Ultra Mega to the tune of I Want Candy. Who sang? Oh, I feel like for the last few minutes I felt like I'm about to sneeze and it's fucking me up a little bit. I might have to blow a whole wad of snot out of my face. Who sang I Want Candy originally? Because I know there have been covers. Oh, hey, cool. Nothing I'm typing's coming up because my Wi-Fi's gone to shit lately. I swear there's probably some like planned obsolescence in my Wi-Fi router or something. I've had it for however many fucking years I've had it. Or maybe it's just old. Maybe that's the case. Not everything's a fucking conspiracy. Not everything's an evil of result of capitalism, Ewan. Although, that said, I'd argue for the opposite. Bow wow wow. If you gave me 8 million guesses as to who originally sang I Want Candy, is a song written and originally recorded by the Strangeloves in 1965 that reached number 11 on the US Billboard. Okay, then why Bow Wow Wow are an English new wave band created by Malcolm McLaren, of course, who created the Sex Pistols. To form a band. Oh, so was it like made more popular by Bow Wow Wow? Ugh. Fucking Malcolm McLaren, man. Let's make a band called the Sex Pistols. Let's make a band called Bow Wow Wow. Brilliant. But, you know, he got fucking rich off of it, so more power to him, I suppose. That's what counts at the end of the day, isn't it? Oh, is this another anti-capitalist money rant, Ewan? Brilliant. We love those. Can't get fucking enough of them. Well, I guess that's... Yeah, so it's either rants about sponsors and shit or Ultra Mega sung to the tune of I Want Candy by the Strangeloves or Bow Wow Wow, depending on what the fuck ever. Because then now I think what I could do with this drawing, I'm envisioning it with like a black background, but like a harsh black background, not done with ballpoints. The issue with that is that the ballpoint pen drawing might then look too shit in contrast. It can be difficult to mix mediums like that. It's like when you're young and you think it looks really cool to have like a pencil drawing and then fill in the background with like a black marker pen or something. So you get like a solid black background, deep black ink, and the thing in front of it is like a faded pale pencil drawing. Even if you shade really hard, you can only really get so dark with pencils. And yeah, at the time you think, oh, this is a great idea, like I'm mixing mediums and I'm doing something different. But ultimately you look at it afterwards and realise, nah, it actually looks kind of garbage. Which is a shame, but I'm sure it could be done well, but you know, it never is. It never is. And that's what I fear would happen if I like use Posca pens or paint or something to black out most of the background. Leave the pink lines in there. I'm sure there's a way I could do it that would look sort of reasonably kind of good, but maybe if I put more effort in, maybe that would be the case. Minimum effort, minimum effort, minimum effort. Maybe if you actually put effort in, things would look good, Ewan. Did you ever think about that? No, of course. Why would you? You lazy sack of shit. God, these days I put more effort into fucking ranting about goddamn advertising and shit than I do drawing good stuff. As I'm recording this, it's the 1st of October, which means Inktober and Drawloween and Scuzztober and Pisstober and shit all over my dick and balls tober and this tober and that tober. Are you doing an October list? What October list are you doing? Are you doing Inktober? Hey, it's October. That means it's time for Inktober. Are you doing an Inktober? I don't think I am this year. I don't know if I've got it in me. I've done a few good ones in the past couple of years. I did Stinktober. That was a pretty funny one. Not amazing drawings that come out of it, but it was pretty fun to do. And I had some pretty fun drawings come out of it. A few pretty fun drawings that I'm happy with. Then last year, I think that was 2 years ago. And then last year I did my drawing all of my screenshots Tober. That was a good one. And then I made that screenshot this zine from it. That was a really good one. I got really good drawings, and I got one for each day of the month, which was quite surprising. And that came out really, really well. I was really happy with that. But this year, yeah, I don't know if I got it in me this year. I'm not quite feeling it. I had a couple of ideas, which I may do some of, or I may just use the ideas just for separate things. I thought of doing one of like basically a panel a day that builds into a whole story of like a comic. My idea initially was to have like a little goblin character, just make up a tiny little goblin character, and then he, like the first day, he's off on his travels. He's got a backpack with all of his gear on it, a big smile on his face, and he's ready to go. And then day 2, he's like looking at a map that points to a certain place. Day 3, he's arriving at the place. Day 4, something happens, or it might not be great. Day 5, he's escaping from the place. And then he's travelling some more, goes to a new place, basically like that. And then until eventually, you know, this happens, that happens, this happens, that happens. And eventually he finally gets home again after everything and realises he should have never left the house in the first place. There's a message in it. There's a moral to the story. So yeah, I mean, and that could be fun to do, and it would work for like an Inktober type fucking month of drawings or whatever. But I mean, for one thing, as I say, it's currently the 1st of October as I'm recording this, so I've no plans to start drawing that today, so I've already missed day 1. Shame on me. More's the pity. But yeah, and it's starting to become a thing where just as much as people are saying, hey, it's Inktober, hey, it's Inktober, hey, it's this, hey, it's that, as much as that's happening, there's almost an equal amount of people saying, you don't have to do Inktober. It's not an obligation. It's not a prerequisite to be an artist. You don't have to do it. You take it easy. Don't stress yourself if you can't come up with a drawing day, which is absolutely fine. That's perfectly reasonable, and it is good advice or whatever. Like, yeah, you don't have to do Inktober just because it's a thing. But I'm getting sick of people just talking about fucking Inktober, whether for better or worse. I wish everyone would just shut the fuck up and just draw if they feel like it and not if they don't. And even if they don't feel like drawing, draw anyway. Just keep fucking drawing. Make shit for me to look at. Cunts.